Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Haar Disciples Ballpark here in Munich. It's a beautiful sunny day, September the 12th, a little bit of a late summer. This would normally be, of course, the time when we would all be getting ready for the start of Oktoberfest. And the weather is complying with such wonderful scenarios. And, of course, this year there will be no Oktoberfest. But we do have baseball one more time here in Haar, and I'm happy to be bringing you that game. My name is Tim Collins. And today's game between the Haar Disciples and the Buchbinder Legionäre is scheduled to begin in a couple of minutes. You can see already the meeting between the Disciples coach Alex Tufts and the Regensburg coach Thomas Bison, as well as home plate umpire Vlado Chupic and base umpire Andreas Pichler is taking place. And while that's happening, I'll give you the starting lineup for the Buchbinder Legionäre. Alex Schmidt, the shortstop, is going to lead off. Devin Ramirez, the right fielder, will bat second. Matt Vance, the designated hitter, is batting third. David Grimes, the first baseman, will bat cleanup. Pascal Amon in center field will bat fifth. Lucas Jan, the second baseman, bats sixth. Elias van Garsen, the catcher, will bat seventh. Eric Harms playing left field today, he's batting eighth. And Nino Sakaza, the third baseman, will round out the lineup. He's batting ninth. They will be doing battle with the left-hander, Devin Rutzky of the Haar Disciples, who has come in from the bullpen and is ready to take the field along with the rest of the Haar Disciples. They are gathered along the third base dugout and are about to take the field. No fans allowed in the ballpark, but there are a few people here. There are some extra players for the Legionnaire who brought a roster of about, seems like, well, they have about 8 players on the bench. And there are a few other people who are helping out with the Verein. They are allowed in the ballpark. But unfortunately, no fans are allowed to come in. So there are a few fans that have just lined the fence just outside the perimeter of the park. And they're going to try to take in today's festivities. And so we're happy to be with you. I'm happy to be able to bring you this ball game today. Beautiful sunny day, as I mentioned. As far as the season goes, it's been up and down for the Disciples. They come in with a record of 5-6, and the Legionnaire, they are in the midst of a fantastic year. They, of course, are atop the Bundesliga South with a record of 10-1. They are tied with the Heidekepfe, but I believe that Regensburg had won the tiebreaker in those 2 games, as the home plate meeting has now finished, and the Disciples are going to take the field momentarily. And when they do that, I'll give you a little bit more information about Devin Rutzky, the left-hander from Windsor, Ontario, who has really pitched well his last 3 or 4 outings. There you see the Disciples huddling. They have really been riddled by injuries, just like they were the previous 2 years. They've got a couple players who are still playing through some pain today, such as David Dinsky, who's in there as a designated hitter. You may remember a couple of weeks ago he injured himself running to first base, and he has not really recovered from it, but the Disciples are they're in need of people to send out there on the field, so they're going to send out a relatively banged up and bruised up team, but they feel like they've got good chances with the big left-hander on the mound, Devin Rutzky, as the final huddle is taking place right now in front of the Disciples dugout. And here we go. We are about ready to start as the Disciples are taking the field. A little bit of a skip in the step. Defensively for the Disciples, they will have Niels Schmidt playing third base. Nate Sean Thomas will play shortstop. Simon Lechner is playing second base. Danielle Patrice is playing first base. The left fielder is Titus van Kopf. In center field, Nolan West. In right field, Enzo Mushik. And then behind the plate doing the catching right there in the lower left portion of your screen is Will Thorpe. And that's the big left-hander, Devin Rutzky, on the mound. And he has a record of 3 wins and 1 loss, 34 strikeouts in 22 innings pitched, an ERA of just over 2. And I mentioned his last 3 starts. Really, his last 2 have been very good. Actually, the last 3, but one of them was very short because the Disciples scored 15 runs in less than 4 innings against the Ulm Falcons. But a couple of weeks ago in Mannheim, he pitched 7 innings and struck out 13 in a victory. And then last weekend in Mainz, pitched 6 innings, allowing no runs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. In fact, he has not allowed a run since his August 15th outing in Stuttgart. So when I total up the innings, we got 16 consecutive innings without allowing a run for Mr. Rutzky. So he's been dealing. And The Disciples are going to hope to ride on his powerful left arm as much as they possibly can in this game. And yes, I see the first question in the chat. This is going to be a 9-inning game. They're only playing 7-inning games for doubleheaders, where the Disciples have mostly had doubleheaders this year. But this game is going to be 9 innings. So we will see what shall transpire. Yesterday, of course, Regensburg scoring 9 runs in the 6th inning, I believe it was, and they sort of ran away with that one. But Regensburg is a powerful offensive lineup. That is without question. And so Rutzky is going to have his work cut out for him. And here we go. Alex Schmidt will step up to the plate. First pitch, it looks like is going to be about 3 minutes or so after 2. Beautiful sunny day. Nowhere I'd rather be. Hope you're comfortable wherever you are. And here we go. First pitch of the game to Alex Schmidt coming right now. And he shows bunt, and the pitch was down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. And that fastball fades outside, 2-0. That one is in there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Good fastball. Rutzky has really turned it on his last several starts, amping up the strikeout numbers. This ball's popped up right center field. Now Nolan West is now drifting way back into the alleyway, and he makes the catch. That ball looked like it really carried a lot further than he thought, but there's 1 down. It's a very high sky today, as a couple of the players before the game were remarking. Although a few hours ago it seemed more hazy. Now there's a lot more clear blue up in the sky. A couple of puffy clouds floating overhead. And so with 1 out, nobody on, that will bring up Devin Ramirez, youngster from California. He's also spent some time playing in Australia, and the pitch is upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Infield is straight away, as is the outfield. And that one is low. 2 balls, no strikes. So 2 consecutive hitters that Rutzky has fallen behind 2-0 to. But Schmidt hit that fly ball to right field for the first out. Here's the 2-0 to Ramirez. And it missed low, ball 3, 3-0. And that one is right through there. Ramirez taking all the way. Now the count 3-1. He will be swinging. And Rutzky taking a bit of time there. Maybe waiting for Thorpe to put down the sign that he was hoping to throw. 3 balls and a strike on Devin Ramirez. The pitch, that's low for ball 4. So Ramirez will take first base on the walk. And that will bring up Matt Vance. Matt Vance, who has been playing in the Bundesliga, I believe, for 12 years now. He got his 500th career Bundesliga hit a couple of weeks ago. And he's having a great year. He's the designated hitter, originally from California, I believe he is. And there goes the runner on the first move. The pitch taken for a strike. The throw to second base is in time. Must have slid off the bag. So Ramirez is caught stealing. And the count is no balls and 1 strike on Matt Vance. Let's watch this on the replay. And Andreas Pichler making the out call at second base. There was no argument from Ramirez. He obviously came off the bag, overslid, and good job by the second baseman Lechner to keep the tag on him. So there are 2 down. The count 0-1. That was a curveball from Rutzky. That was another one. This one is high. I saw somebody in the chat asking what types of pitches Rutzky throws. Well, I don't have a scouting report, but he's definitely got a big curveball. And that one catches the outside corner, 1-2. I've seen him throw fastball, change, and curve. As far as his fastball, my guess is it's a 2-seamer because it fades away from right-hand hitters. There's the 1-2. There's that curve fouled in and out of the glove of Thorpe as Vance stays alive. But it's, as far as information goes here, it's much more of a community endeavor, and you know, there aren't scouting reports widely available. And also guys change things. Here's the 1-2. That one down and in. I think he tried to throw that back foot breaking ball, and Vance started but did not continue his swing all the way through. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. And that's inside. 3-2 now. And this fastball hit on the ground up the middle and past the diving Simon Lechner into center field. So Matt Vance will have himself a 2-out single. So he's at first base. So that caught stealing certainly looms large as far as the beginning of this inning goes. So 2 outs, and now that'll bring up David Grimes. Vance on first base. He's virtually standing on the bag. Now he takes a few steps off, but not a big lead. Rutzky has a pretty good move over there. And the pitch to Grimes is high with the fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, when we've seen Rutzky really settle in, usually, you know, sometimes pitchers will get off to a slow start in the first inning and then really find their groove. Here's the 1-0. And that curveball bends onto the outside corner. And that's really his important pitch that he needs to establish. And he can throw it at any point to any hitter in the count. Vance on first base, 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner not going. The pitch swung on and missed. Good block by Thorpe. He keeps it in front of him. Thought about throwing behind Vance, who scampered back. So now 2 strikes and 1 ball on David Grimes. The 1-2 pitch. And a check swing. He went around. They're going to peel, and no. Pichler says no. Grimes rotated himself out of the batter's box, and I guess the question is whether he brought the barrel of the bat through the hitting zone, and it's going to go down as a ball. As we have just enough time to take a look at that again. Very close. You can see his feet kind of went out from under him. Rutzky, I think, thought the pitch was a strike anyway. But now it's 2-2. And now it's 3-2. Well, a laborious first inning so far for Rutzky. The payoff pitch. Curveball on the outside edge. He got him looking. So he does come back to get David Grimes and end the inning. He also pitches around a walk and a base hit. But thanks to the caught stealing, the Legionnaire do not score. So we will go to the bottom of the first inning here in Haar. No score of the ballgame. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. And as we move back to the bottom of the first inning, no score in the ball game, and the right-hander on the mound for the Legionnaires, the young 20-year-old Christian Pedrol, who is actually from Sao Paulo, Brazil. An interesting place for baseball players. There are only a few in the major leagues. Jan Gomes and Andre Rienzo, a former pitcher, also from Brazil. But there is a Brazil baseball community, and I don't know if he grew up there, but that's where he's born, and spent some time in the Mariners organization as well, and he is with the Legionnaire this year. Has not pitched very much, only a couple of innings, and he will face Nate Sean Thomas to start things off. I'll give you the rest of the Disciples lineup as we go. First pitch, fastball, missed inside, ball one. After Nate Sean Thomas, it will be Simon Lechner and then Will Thorpe, so that's the first third. As Thomas swings and misses, 1-1. After Thorpe, Patrice Dinsky and West, 4, 5, 6, and then Titus von Kopf, Niels Schmidt, and Enzo Muschik, 7, 8, 9. And swing and a miss, strike two. As Pedrol comes out, firing fastballs, and he's quickly ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Nate Sean Thomas. And he got him. Gas from Christian Pedrol, and right away, there's 1 out. So Simon Lechner will step up. Defensively behind Pedrol, they have Nino Sakaza at third, Alex Schmidt at short, Lucas Jan is at second, David Grimes is at first, Eric Harms in left, Pascal Amon in center, and Devin Ramirez is in right. The catcher is Elias von Garson. So Simon Lechner stepping up to the plate, another lefty hitter, and he fouls away the first pitch he sees. And Pedrol working very quickly. And that one misses up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nothing but fastballs so far. I think that's 6 consecutive. It looks like it has good movement and good life to it. Fastball up and away. Lechner laid off at 2-1. And the pitch. Foul tipped into the mitt, 2-2. And Pedrol had started his windup and then stopped, and now he's reorganizing some of the dirt in front of the pitching rubber. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. And that one rides away. Full count on Lechner. Lechner draws a lot of walks. And he's been hitting with a lot more power of late. Has a couple of home runs. And he's gotten rid of the batting gloves. This ball's popped up left side, being chased, and this is going to drift all the way out to the left fielder, Eric Harms, who's got it for the second out. So a strikeout and a flyout, and that will bring up Will Thorpe. No score in the game. Thorpe hit his first home run of the season last weekend in Mainz. And that fastball nips the inside corner, strike one. You can see it has good life to it. Thorpe was actually leaning back a little bit from that one. Nice compact delivery. Nothing in one. And that breaking ball is called strike two. That's the first breaking ball he's thrown. Nothing in two. And right on the outside corner. And Thorpe never took the bat off of his shoulders. A very, very strong inning for Christian Pedrol. And at the end of one complete, there's no score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the top of the second inning. No score in the game between the Buchbinder Legionäre and the Haar Disciples, as Rutzky had to throw 22 pitches to get through the first inning. He allowed a walk and a strikeout, but he was able to get through it unscathed. And now 5, 6, and 7. Pascal Amon, Lucas Jan, and Elias von Garson against the left-hander Rutzky. First pitch, curve and a beauty. Strike one. 0-1 on Pascal. And this time he throws another one. This one sweeps down and away. Not close enough to entice Amon into a swing, so 1 ball and 1 strike. As the lefty Rutzky gets his sign and deals. Grounded weakly to first, fielded by Patrice. He will take it to the bag himself. And Amon is out, number 1. And that will bring up Lucas Jan, the second baseman. As Nate-Sean Thomas, the shortstop, shifts a little bit over. He's playing Jan up the middle. And that first pitch is down low, ball 1. It's kind of interesting. There's been a lot of sort of new data about the shift, indicating that the shift works better against left-handed hitters than against right-handed hitters. There's a swing and a foul tip, strike 1. In fact, the shift has statistically benefited right-hand hitters. This is, of course, in the major leagues. We don't have numbers on this in this league, but it's an interesting new development in sort of the way the game has been studied sabermetrically. There's another good curveball, by the way, for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Lucas Jan, a left-hand hitter, and he's trying to slap that ball. That one goes into the Disciples' dugout. Got a piece of that curveball. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes still on Mr. Jan. Although the third baseman, Neil Schmidt, is basically still playing normal positions. There's a big hole on the left side between short and third. Jan, of course, is trying to pepper the fence. Here's the pitch. Popped up, foul, out of play. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Remember, this is going to be a 9-inning game today. Well, that's barring any of the 10-run rule scenarios. There's a curve and a beauty. And Jan just turns and walks back to the dugout. Doesn't even wait for the very relaxed strike 3 call of Vlado Chupic. Everybody knew that one. So strike 3, that's the second strikeout for Rutzky. Beautiful pitch. And when he gets that curveball going, he will rely on it a lot. So now Elias von Garson will step up to the plate. And here it comes. And it's in for a strike, fastball. And a line shot right off the glove, in and out of the glove, and caught anyway by Nate-Sean Thomas. He had to make a little crow hop to go up and get it. It popped out of his glove, and then he just caught it again the second time on the way down. So a line out off the bat of Elias von Garson, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Rutzky and the Disciples. So we'll go to the bottom of the second, no score. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Before we go to the bottom of the second inning, I just want to remind the folks viewing at home that if you would like to support this broadcast and the Haar Disciples in general, remember the Disciples are one of the few teams that actually have not been allowed to have fans in the ballpark this year. It's been on a case-by-case basis, and the situation here in Haar is that the field is owned by the town, and the town did not grant permission. And so it's out of the Disciples' hands, and as a part of a way to sort of offset that cost, they've set up a donation option, which is linked in the description of the YouTube video that you are currently watching right now. It's called Lychee. You can just click the link, and you can donate any amount of money that you'd like. And I will say, a lot of that, not a lot of it, I mean, I have no idea how much money has come in so far, but I know that some of that is going to go to support future broadcasts. And you may notice that we don't have the center field camera this year, and that is because some of the equipment has broken down, and it's been too expensive to get it replaced for such a short amount of games. And so any donations you make will go directly towards that, and hopefully we can get the center field camera up and running again next year. So that was my public service announcement, as Christian Pedrol is going to come up back to the bottom of the second inning against Daniel Patrice. David Dinsky is on deck, and his first pitch is outside, ball one. Pedrol looked very good in the first inning. This ball grounded right through the middle, and it is grabbed behind second by Schmidt, but it pops out of his glove, and Patrice will be on first base. Most likely a base hit. I'm not sure that Schmidt would have thrown him out. Schmidt showing pretty good range to get over there, however. Wasn't hit all that hard. Patrice can run, and that's probably a base hit all the way anyway, so I'm just going to put it in my scorebook as such. And then when the official scorer says something different, y'all can let me know in the chat. David Dinsky now with a runner on first base and nobody out. And the fastball is a strike on the outside corner from Pedrol. Dinsky, of course, playing with less than 100% as he injured his ankle a couple of weeks ago. But he's in there as the DH today. And the runner fakes, now a back pick on him, and he gets back. Patrice started, and then Dinsky showed bunt, pulled it back to look at a ball. 1-1 the count. Alex Tufts, the Disciples head coach, giving the signs down at third. Infield playing straight away, looking for a ground ball they can turn two with. Runner does not go. The pitch is outside. And again, Van Garson on those high outside pitches, he looks like he wants to take a shot down at first base every time. The Pedrol now goes back behind the mound to sort of regroup. Patrice off first, extends his lead 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now. And Pedrol has his sign. Runner does not go. It's fouled straight back, and the count's still 2-2. Dinsky, of course, former Regensburg Buchbinder Legionäre, as is Enzo Mushik. Both in the Disciples lineup today. This one low and outside, full count. And Pedrol, who had pinpoint command in the first inning, now has thrown 3 pitches way outside to Dinsky after having been forced to work from the stretch. Full count. Wonder if the runner will go here. He does not, and that's low in the dirt, ball 4. As Pedrol spinning around as he came off the mound, and the Disciples have the first 2 on here for Nolan West. Nolan West, who has found his homer stroke. Had a big weekend in Mainz a couple of weeks ago. I think he had 3 home runs, and then he had another one in, excuse me, that was in Mannheim. And he had another one in Mainz. Left-hand hitter with power. Playing center field today. He's got 2 on and nobody out. And the pitch. And he bunts and he fouls it off. So the Disciples giving a shot at some small ball here. You have 7, 8, 9 coming up, although Titus von Kopf and Nils Schmidt have been hitting the ball very well. And Mushik, no slouch himself, also a very experienced hitter. And Tufts, I think, is asking if a balk should have been called. Let's see what that last... No, I don't have it anymore. Alex Tufts, the coach for the Disciples, is over talking with Andreas Pichler, the base umpire, and he's pointing to the pitcher. I think he was complaining about some movement that Pedro was doing. The only thing that I saw was that Pedro did sort of keep looking at the runner as he was lifting his leg, and then he turned and went to the plate, but that's not a balk. So, count no balls and 1 strike. But Tufts is a pitcher. He knows what he's talking about, so he must have seen something else. And the bunt is laid down in front of the plate, fielded by Pedro. His sort of first is in time, but the runners move up. So West with a sacrifice. And the Disciples have runners on second and third now. And 1 out. And that'll bring up Titus von Kopf. Von Kopf, who was planned this year to be the Game 1 starter, and he was and pitched well until he hurt himself. And now he's coming back, but he can't throw more than a couple innings. And so the Disciples have had to really piece together a lot of innings this year. But he's a talented player all around. He can also swing the bat, and he looks at a ball upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Titus is playing left field today. Got a chance to give the Disciples the lead. Patrice is at third. Dinsky is at second. Infield back. There's a little tapper left of the plate, and it trickles foul and stays there. So the count 1-1. So if Von Kopf can hit a ground ball to the middle infielders, the Disciples will get a run. Sakaza at third and Grimes at first. They are on the edge of the grass, but up the middle, Schmidt and Jan, they are, well, now they are playing halfway, so they've changed their positioning between the last pitch. 1-1 the count. And that's ripped down the line. That's a fair ball, and 2 runs are going to score. It goes all the way to the wall. Von Kopf digging for 2, and he is there standing. The Disciples lead 2-0. Well, you could hear the crack of the bat on that one. Titus getting around on that fastball inside. Think you can throw it by me? No, sir, he said. Give him 2 runs batted in. And the Disciples lead 2-0. That will bring up Nils Schmidt. Schmidt is another guy who the Disciples brought up to the first team due to so many injuries, and he's been hitting the ball very well. He's got some home run power. And he skies one foul. That's going to go out of play. Strike 1. So a completely different sort of inning for Christian Pedrol, who was dominant in the first. And this inning, a little ground ball single, then a walk, a sacrifice, and then a laser of a double. This pitch is inside. 1-1. And there's only 1 out. 1-1 pitch on the way to Schmidt. And that's low, 2-1. And Pedrol, who was hitting the corners with all of his pitches in the first inning, had 2 strikeouts and a flyout. This inning he's been missing just by a little bit. 2-1. And that's high and outside, ball 3, 3-1. Number 9 hitter Enzo Mushik is waiting on deck. After that, Nate Sean Thomas back at the top of the order. 3 balls and a strike. Von Kopf is on second base. There's 1 out. The Disciples lead 2-0 so far. And that is ball 4. Schmidt will take the walk. 2 on, still only 1 out. 2 walks in the inning, and that's going to draw a mound visit from Thomas Bison, as he is going to come out to the mound and have a chat with his young pitcher. Pedrol, only 20 years of age. He has some experience as high as AAA. I think he only had an inning or 2 at that level, but he's certainly no stranger to high-level competition, and you can clearly see the talent in that right arm, just the way he throws the ball. But in this inning, he is struggling a bit with his control. I'm looking in the chat. Somebody asking, hey, Tim, you ever played baseball? Yes, I was a pitcher when I was in high school. I'm from New York. I never played pro. Didn't play in college. I decided to focus on other things in college. But I did play baseball, and I was a lefty pitcher. And I threw a no-hitter, but we lost. So that's my resume, my baseball resume. But yes, I do play for the barbecue team now. But anyway, enough about me. Back to Enzo Mushik. We've got 1 out, runners on first and second. The Disciples leading 2-0. The mound visit is over. Fly ball, right field. Ramirez is drifting back, shy of the warning track, makes the catch. Both runners tag, and only one will move up, however. As Von Kopf tagged and went to third, Schmidt stayed put at first base. Good throw by Ramirez from right field to second base to make sure that that was the case. So Mushik flies out on the first pitch, and now there are 2 down for Nate Sean Thomas. Runners on first and third. You might see Mushik take off in a situation like this if he thinks he can grab a bag. Nate Sean Thomas was blown away with fastballs first time, but second time around might be much different as this pitch is inside. It looks like a little bit of the life has come off the fastball. Pedro's fastball in the first inning had real nice late movement. This inning, it does not seem to pop quite as much. 1-0. It's inside 2-0. You wonder, I mean, theoretically from the stretch, it should not make a big difference, but you never know. 2 balls, no strikes on Thomas. And that's low, ball 3. In this inning, there's been a single, a walk, a sacrifice, a double, another walk, and he's 3-0 on Thomas, who my guess is going to be taking here. And he takes ball 4. The bases are loaded. And there's some stirring around in the Legionnaire dugout. Looks like a catcher and a pitcher are going to go out and start throwing, as Pedro is running into issues here. Simon Lechner with the bases juiced now steps up to the plate. Lechner flied out his first time. There are 2 down, nowhere to put Lechner, who is a very selective hitter. He does not expand the zone very often. So Pedro has his work cut out for him. And he falls behind on the first pitch, 1-0. Well, if you had told me after the first inning that the second inning would look like this, I would not have believed you, because Pedro was lights out in the first inning. And he finds the inside corner with that one. 1 ball and 1 strike on Simon Lechner. 3 walks in the inning. And Lechner pulls one foul down the line. So the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Pedro is a strike away from getting out of this with relatively little damage, just to the 2 runs. Bases loaded. And this one rolled slowly to the right side, fielded by Grimes. He feeds the pitcher Pedro covering, and the inning is over. The Disciples will have to settle for 2 runs. 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 3 left on base. And at the end of 2 innings of play, it's the Disciples 2, the Legionäre had nothing. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the top of the third, 2-0 Disciples, and for the Legionäre, they will start things off with Eric Harms, 8-9-1 against Evan Rutzky. And he misses low with his 34th pitch of the afternoon. 1 ball, no strikes on Harms. It will be Harms and then Sakaza, and then the top of the order, Alex Schmidt. This one misses outside, 2-0. Rutzky's got 2 strikeouts. He's allowed 1 hit and 1 walk so far. And that one misses inside, 3-0. But it's already an improvement, the 1 walk in 2 innings. The Disciples yesterday had 15 walks and only 1 strikeout. And that is ball 4. So Harms with a leadoff walk. So that's not the beginning that Rutzky wanted after having been given a 2-run lead. So now he will go to work on Nino Sakaza. Sakaza, left-handed hitting infielder. Always been a very good hitter. He's got some power, hits the ball to all fields. And you know you have a deep lineup if he's the number 9 hitter, which he is. And there's a check on the runner at first. And Harms was basically standing on the bag. And that curveball is in for a strike, about letter high. When he throws that pitch for a strike, sometimes you get the feeling that that's the pitch he can throw for a strike more confidently than some of the other ones. He's so good with that curveball. It's a matter of matching it with everything else. Here's the 1 strike. Instead, a check again on Harms, who has about a 2-foot lead over off the bag. Fastball cut on and missed. That was a good pitch. Up in the eyes of Sakaza, and he went chasing. And Harms, by the way, was leaning back towards first base when Rutzky delivered that pitch. There's the 0-2, and instead another check on Harms. And then Patrice tries the hidden ball trick, and nobody fell for it. So, lots of things happening at the ballpark today. 0-2 on Sakaza. Curveball swung on, foul-tipped, and Thorpe couldn't quite squeeze it, so Sakaza lives to see at least one more. But he hung in there on that breaking ball. That's a tough thing to do. Rutzky's breaking ball, it starts up about eye high, and then it takes a drastic left turn. The 0-2. Slapped on the ground left side, and that's going to sneak into the hole. Nate Sean Thomas can just pick it up and put it in his pocket. That is an excellent piece of hitting by Sakaza. Just sort of sticking the bat out there, reach out and touch someone type of a thing. And so, 2 on and nobody out on the base hit. That moves Harms to second base. Look at that little half swing, just sort of served it that way, and Thomas obviously not playing Sakaza to hit the ball in that direction. So now back to the top of the order for Alex Schmidt. Still nobody out. Well, this is the situation that the Disciples opted to bunt in. Let's see what the Legionnaire do here. Rutzky checking on the runners. And the pitch, he squares. And it's in front of the plate. Thorpe picks it up, throws to first, and it's in time. They get the out there. That's a good play. The ball initially looked like it was going to die right in front of the plate, which would have given Thorpe a chance to go to third. But it kept on trickling on the dirt along the third base line, and Thorpe picked it up and was able to make the play to first base very quickly. Not a lot of time with the very quick Alex Schmidt going down the line. So he sacrifices, and the play goes 2-3. And now runners on second and third for Devin Ramirez. Ramirez, his first time, walked and then was caught stealing. Good curveball from Rutzky. That one dropping in. That was the 12-6. You know, some of his curves, they have different movements, so I'm guessing that's by design. He throws some with the real downward action. Maybe another one is more of a slider type pitch. Nothing in one. Infield back, they would let a run score to just get it out at first base. That ball is drilled high in the air to deep left field. Way back it goes, and it is gone. That's a 3-run home run off the bat of Devin Ramirez. And the Legionnaire take a 3-2 lead. And that was one curveball too many from Rutzky. I think it broke down and in, went right to the barrel of the bat. And Von Kopf took a cursory glance at that as it flew over his head and over the fence. So the lead is short-lived as Ramirez takes Rutzky deep. Let's take a look at the pitch one more time. It had the sound and the angle, and it just flew. And today's a pretty hot day. Yeah, it was a curveball, and he waited on it. So a 3-run home run gives the Legionnaire a 3-2 lead, and now Matt Vance steps up to the plate. And that's a strike. And I guess that's the reason why you can't just throw one pitch all the time. The experienced hitters will start to sit on it and do some damage, and that's exactly what Ramirez did right there. 0-1. Vance looks at a fastball, and he missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch looked like the hardest fastball I think Rutzky has thrown. There's a curveball, and this one lifted in the air to center field for Nolan West, who makes the play. Vance looked like he waited on that one pretty well, and he just got jammed a little bit. Didn't quite time it. He saw it, but didn't quite get the barrel to it, so he flies out for the second out of the inning. So now the cleanup hitter, David Grimes, with 2 outs and nobody on, and he shoots a fastball foul off to the right, strike 1. Somebody asking what's the temperature here. I don't know exactly, but it's probably around 23, 24 centigrade. In the shade, it is lovely, and that's where I am sitting. It's a beautiful day. This is beer garden weather. There's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. That was a fastball. He just blew it right by him, 0-2. As a Rutzky clearly against this lineup is going to have to mix other pitches in with the breaking ball. He can't just lean on the one pitch all the time. And so we'll see what adjustments he makes moving forward. 0-2. That looked like a changeup, and it floated down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Curveball. And the appeal, and he did not go, says the base umpire, Andreas Pichler. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was a good location. It was down and in. Got a check, but not a full swing. 2-2 on David Grimes. And now that's inside, full count. Still a lot of pitches for Rutzky. He has started the inning with 33, and he's had to deal with a walk, a single, a home run, and now a full count. And now another walk as that pitch misses inside. That's the second walk of the inning, third of the game for Evan. Rutzky, by the way, is a Twitch streamer. If you're interested in the Twitch community, he does a lot of live streaming of video games. You can follow him. It's his EVRX1. That's his Twitch handle, and he told me he would love it if I would give him shout outs. So I'm totally down with that. I'm a YouTuber. Here we are on YouTube, so you know. As Pascal Amon steps up to the plate, that pitch is high, fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. I'm not sure what video game. He told me what video game he played, but it went into my brain for about 30 seconds and then escaped. It got out of there alive, let's put it that way. 1 ball, no strikes on Amon. There goes the runner. The pitch is taken for a ball. The throw to second base, not in time. And so Grimes steals second. That's the second attempt, first successful one for the Legionnaire, and they're trying to get another run here. Legionnaire, they are playing every inning as they should, as if it's the championship game. They are 10-1. They are going to make the playoffs, but as a knee buckler curveball to Amon, 2 balls and 1 strike to him. But this game, you know, we're only in the 3rd inning, 3-2 against a quality pitcher. 2 balls, 1 strike on Pascal Amon. There are 2 outs, and the runner at second base is David Grimes. And another curve. This one hits the outside edge, 2-2. That one he threw a little bit harder. So Rutzky, is he going to go to the curveball here, or is he going to go up and in with a fastball? Let's find out. And he went away. That was not the big 12-6. That might have been more of a slider, and it was down 3-2. So the full count. A long hold, and now it comes. He got him eventually with the fastball. So he did change up the pattern, and he threw the 3-2 fastball and struck out Amon. But the Disciples find themselves looking up at a 3-2 score after the 3-run home run off the bat of Devin Ramirez, as the Legionnaire get 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors and 1 left on base. So we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here in Haar. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, presented from Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Off we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's the Disciples and the Buchbinder Legionäre, and the Legionäre have the 3-2 lead. And Christian Pedrol, who has thrown 45 pitches, he breezed through the first inning and then really had to labor in the second. He will deal with 3, 4, and 5. Will Thorpe, Danielle Patrice, and David Dinsky. As he's got himself a lead. Thorpe rips one. That is foul. Hit as hard as you possibly could hit a ball, but foul. Sitting on that fastball, strike one. Thorpe struck out looking his first time. Didn't even take a swing at any of the pitches. There's the 0-1. Curve, and that one catches the outside edge. That's the first curveball for a strike, I think, that Pedro has thrown. So that could be a big development. 0-2. That one drilled, but foul. That was way gone. Well, Thorpe has had two very healthy cuts, even though he's behind 0-2. That was a little slider that hung right in his wheelhouse. But just a little too quick. Still nothing in 2 on Will Thorpe. Let's see if Pedro comes back with a heat here. The right-hander kicks and deals. It was the fastball, and Thorpe got a piece to foul it away. Still 0-2. Here it comes. That one low and in the dirt. Good scoop by Von Garson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One and 2. Little tapper up the middle. Schmidt ranging to his left. Spins, throws, and gets him at first. Nicely done by the shortstop, Alex Schmidt. That one begs another look. Thorpe hit it off the end of the bat, and you see how far Schmidt has to go. He spun around and made the play. Well done. 6-3 on the putout, 1 away, and that will bring up Danielle Patrice. And Patrice hits a fly ball to deep right center field. Ramirez has got it tracked, and he one-hands it shy of the warning track. Patrice got that off the end of the bat. And so very quickly, 2 outs. Danielle has a lot of power to the opposite field. He's hit a lot of deep fly balls that way. That one didn't quite have the sound. It sounded like it might have cracked the bat. And so 2 quick outs. So a good rebound, at least so far, for Christian Pedrol. As David Dinsky, who walked and then scored, will step up. Dinsky, the designated hitter. And a nice off-speed pitch drops in for a strike. Dinsky definitely was not looking for that. You can see his weight shift had already been committed. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Was that a changeup? Might have been a changeup. It's hard to gauge sometimes, but I usually base my judgment of if it's a changeup based on whether the hitter simply looked early or not on the swing. The 0-2. Fastball just missed. Pedrol this inning has a bit more of that swagger that he had in the first inning. That last fastball really looked nice just off the corner. Had that crack to it, though. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt, and the count 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the third, 3-2 Legionnaire. Here's the pitch. That's hit up the middle and into center field. A base hit for Dinsky, and he will be on first base with a 2-out single. Well hit, base hit up the middle. And he took that fastball from Pedrol and just didn't try to do too much. Put a good swing on it, lined it to the right of the mound, but to the left of Lucas Jan and into center field. So 2 down for Nolan West. West was called upon to sacrifice his first time. But as I mentioned, he's got some pop. He has, I think, 3 home runs this year. And he pops this one up very high into shallow right center field. Ramirez is calling for it, and he's got it for the third out. So on one pitch, Nolan West flies out, and Pedrol comes back to have a very solid bottom of the third. We will go to the fourth here in Haar. It's the Legionäre 3, the Disciples 2. This is Haar Disciples baseball präsentiert from Gesundheitsunternehmen, MSD. We move to the top of the fourth inning. Tim Collins with you here from Haar Disciples Ballpark, where the Legionäre, on the strength of a 3-run home run off the bat of Devin Ramirez, lead this game 3-2 for the Disciples. A 2-run double from Titus van Kopf, and that has been the scoring. 3-3-0 for the Legionäre, 2-3-0 for the Disciples, and Evan Rutzky is going to deal with Lucas Jan. Jan, the number 6 in the order as he takes a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. It'll be Jan, then Elias van Garsen, and Eric Harms, 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order for the Legionäre. And that pitch just missed inside, 2-0. Jan was caught looking on the curveball his first time, so he's over 1. Two-0 from Rutzky. And a fastball in on his hands, and Jan fights it off to foul it back. 2 balls and 1 strike. Up for the Disciples. They had that lead very short-lived as that pitch is outside 3-1. As Christian Pedrol was lights out in the first inning, and then in the second inning struggled with his control and gave up a big hit to Titus van Kopf. Rutzky has sort of walked a tightrope. He allowed a couple base runners in the first inning and was helped by a caught stealing as that pitch was called a strike. The count's now full on Lucas Jan. Rutzky pitched a 1-2-3 second, but then last inning gave up the 3-run home run. Curveball, and that's tapped foul, and that's clearly, I mean, Nino Sakaza did that last inning. He waited on that curveball and just stuck the bat out there and rolled one between short and third for a hit. Jan that time just trying to stay alive. Fouled it back. Here's the payoff. Line shot left center field, but it is right at Van Kopf who makes the catch. And that was a fastball from Rutzky, who decided to go away from the breaking ball. Jan inside outed it, hit it very well, got the barrel of the bat to the ball, but it tailed right to Titus van Kopf in left field. It looked off the bat like it was going to split the gap, but Van Kopf barely had to move. That's how much tail that ball had. So 1 out. And Elias van Garsen, the hitter now. And he shoots a foul ball off to the right. 0-1. Van Garsen hit a line drive to Nate Sean Thomas his first time. So he is 0 for 1, even though he hit the ball very well. Rutzky's 0-1. Curveball rolled back to Rutzky, barely has to move off the mound. His throw to first is in time. And there are 2 down. That ball finding the glove of Rutzky more so than it looked like the other way around. As Rutzky was in his follow-through, his glove was sort of hanging by his side. And that's where the ball was, so he just sort of reached out and plucked it. So Eric Harms now with 2 down. And nobody on. Rutzky would love a quick inning here. And a fastball pumps the outside corner, strike 1. Rutzky over 60 pitches. And a good curveball in the inside corner, 0-2. Not sure if he was trying to hit the inside corner, but he did. That pitch is outside, 1-2. If he can get Harms, you can think back to Lucas Jan. Jan had a couple of 3-2 pitches that he saw, and a leadoff walk changes the complexion of the entire inning. Instead, he got that fly out to left field, and maybe he can put away one more strike here to get out of it. Fouled just above the camera, just above it. Let's see what that looked like for all you folks in the living room. The count is still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right over the camera. Next one. Hit on the ground, up the middle, and that's going to sneak through into center field. A little 26 hopper picked up by Nolan West after it stopped moving. So a base hit, and the inning does indeed continue. Hit off the end of the bat by Eric Harms, but he's been on base twice now with a walk and a single. And so now Nino Sakaza steps up. It was Sakaza who poked a little single to the left side. And he was on base for the home run off the bat of Devin Ramirez. Harms on first base, and the pitch is inside, ball 1. Harms, who was on first base last time, never had much of a lead, and yet Rutzky threw over there 3 times, I think. And he throws over again, and Harms just walks back. I mean, there were moments last time Harms was on when Rutzky was delivering the ball to the plate that he was also going back to first base anyway. And the 1-0 runner does not go. Pitch is low, 2-0. And of course, manager would prefer, with the number 9 hitter at the plate, that the pitcher focus more on that than with the runner on first base. Harms does extend his lead a tiny bit, but he's not going. And that fastball hits the outside corner. 1 strike now, 2 balls and 1 strike. Swing and a miss, fastball. Sakaza was late on that. I think he was maybe looking for the breaking ball. Sakaza not usually so late on a fastball. So the count 2-2. Another comebacker, and Rutzky with lots of time makes the play and ends the inning. So Evan Rutzky pitches through the 4th inning, allowing only a single, and at the end of 3.5 innings of play here in Haar, it's the Legionäre 3, the Haar Disciples 2. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We move to the bottom of the fourth inning, and the Disciples are going to send up 7, 8, 9. Titus von Kopf, and then Niels Schmidt and Enzo Mušik. After Nolan West flied out to end the third inning, the Disciples trailing by a score of 3-2, and the first pitch is hit on the ground to the left of the shortstop Schmidt. He fields from a knee, throws low, but scooped at first by Grimes. Nicely done all around. One pitch, one out. That was a very quickly moving play. In fact, my camera was not ready to show you everything that happened. My apologies. People say baseball is a slow game. Well, those people have never tried to broadcast one. That's what I'm going to tell you right there. So Von Kopf grounds out 6-3. There's one away, and now it will bring up Niels Schmidt. And the pitch missed inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Von Kopf, prior to that ground out, was responsible for the 2 runs the Disciples have, a 2-run double. Schmidt has walked in his plate appearance. And he drives one on a line to deep center field. Amon racing back over his head all the way to the center field fence. Schmidt racing around second base, and he will stop there with a double. Pascal Amon, as soon as the ball was hit, just started darting straight back directly into center field, and that ball was over his head. That was really tagged. It was a long line drive, really. Wasn't a particularly high fly ball, and you see Amon read it correctly right away and had no chance. The ball was way over his head. So a double, a ringing one off the bat of Niels Schmidt. And he is at second base representing the tying run, and Tomas Bizon is going to make a pitching change. So that's it for Christian Pedrol. He had a great start, a shaky second inning, a very nice third inning, and departs with a runner at second base and 1 out here in the fourth. And the Legionnaire, who have about 15 pitchers ready and available for today, are going to go to their bullpen. So we will be right back. The short break. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. So the new pitcher on the mound is the former Hard Disciple Tomáš Ondra. Ondra, who is from the Czech Republic, is going to come in and try to keep the score right where it is. He will deal with Enzo Mušik first, and then the top of the order. There's 1 out. Niels Schmidt is at second base, and Christian Pedrol, 3 innings and 2/3. He gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, although he is responsible for Schmidt on second right now. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. He threw 61 pitches, 37 of them were strikes. And at times he looked very dominant, so you can see why he's a promising young pitcher. And Tomáš Ondra, who spent last year with the Hard Disciples and signed with Regensburg in the offseason. He's a very tall fella, does not throw overly hard, and from what I remember last year, he's not really a strikeout pitcher. He's kind of a control finesse guy, although he's pretty big out there on the mound, so he's going to try to deal with Enzo Mushik, who flied out his first time. Sun went behind a cloud. What is that all about? Somebody needs to put in an order. Schmidt on second base is 1 out, and the pitch is low in the dirt. What a block by Van Garsen, as Schmidt was thinking about it. He shuffled his feet a few times towards third base, and Van Garsen had pounced on it. 1 ball and no strikes. Ondra has his sign and comes set. And the fastball missed inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Schmidt off second. Only 1 out. And the 2-0 pitch to Mushik. That's ball 3, missing, not close. 3-0 now. Mushik will be taking. You can bet the house on that one. As the on-deck hitter Nate-Sean Thomas is lurking in the on-deck circle. 3-0. And that one catches the corner. 3-1 now. Mushik thought about trying to buy the ball 4 call. Did not get it. And that one catches the corner again. Mushik a little bit more visible in his frustration with that. And the count full, 3-2. So Ondra came in and threw 3 pitches way out of the zone, has nipped the inside corner twice in a row now. 1 out. Niels Schmidt, the tying run on second base. That one in the dirt, no question, ball 4. And so 2 on with only 1 out for the top of the order. Nate-Sean Thomas now steps to the plate. And Nate, in 2 plate appearances, has struck out and walked today. Infield back and going to try to turn 2, although Thomas not really an ideal candidate for that, as he is very fast. Schmidt, the shortstop, is playing near the bag at second base. Pretty big hole on the left side as Sakaza is even. And Thomas thinking about bunting for a hit and takes a strike. 0-1. No way that's a sacrifice, not with 1 out. Thomas trying to keep the line moving. You have Lechner and Thorpe coming up. 0-1 the count. And that pitch missed low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's high and outside. 2 balls and a strike. Inning was started by Christian Pedrol. He's responsible for Schmidt, who's the runner at second. Mushik is Ondra's responsibility. He has walked him, so he's got a 2-1 count on Nate-Sean Thomas now. And a little squibber foul off to the left. 2-2 now. That ball looked like it cued just off the end of the bat, the part that's cupped. Even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. And a swing and a miss. Looked like an off-speed pitch, and Thomas was way out in front. So a big strikeout for Ondra. And there are 2 down. That will bring up Simon Lechner. Take a look at that pitch one more time. As you see, Nate-Sean Thomas was way out in front. Swung over the top of a, see if it was a breaking ball. Yeah, it looks like it was. And so now Lechner will try to drive home the tying run. And a swing and a miss. That was the same pitch that Thomas just waved at. Nothing in one. Lechner is 0 for 2 today. And a strike on the inside corner. Nothing in 2 now on Simon. Here comes the 0-2. That's high and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I see that the Rudder Twitch fan club has joined the YouTube chat. This is indeed a 9-inning game today. There's the 1-2. Pulled foul down the line. And Rutzky has been pitching very well, although he gave up a 3-run home run to Devin Ramirez. And that's the only damage the Legionnaire have scored against him. That was in the 3rd inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lechner as the Disciples have runners on 1st and 2nd and 2 outs, trying to tie the game or possibly more. Swing and a miss. Good pitch from Ondra. Down goes Lechner. And he used the off-speed pitch to get out of that after walking the first man he faced. So that closes the book on Christian Pedrol, as the Disciples do not score. They get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We go to the 5th inning here in Haar. It's the Legionäre 3, the Disciples 2. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to Disciples Ballpark. Tim Collins with you here. And the final broadcast of the year, as this is a very shortened season, of course, as you all know, as it is all over the world. Evan Rutzky today threw 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 78 pitches. And he's going to go to work against the top of the order, Alex Schmidt. After Schmidt, then it will be Devin Ramirez and Matt Vance. And Schmidt looks at a strike on the outside corner, nothing on 1. Schmidt today has flied out and then sacrificed. His sacrifice preceded the home run. There's a little squibber right side, going to be a tough play, charged by Lechner. He throws to first, and they got him. Well, Simon had to really charge in and make that play, as Schmidt was quick to get down the line. And he had to do it very quickly and calmly. And he got it there just in time. Good stretch by Patrice at first. And so 1 away. 4-3 on the putout. Now Devin Ramirez. So Ramirez hit a curveball over the left field fence his last time with 2 runners aboard. The ball seems to be carrying today. Not a lot of wind. There's a comebacker, and this is going to be an easy play for Rutzky as he takes care of Ramirez. That's the 3rd comebacker in the last 4 hitters that Rutzky has received. So that's a very quick 2 outs. He did that last inning too. Very quickly had 2 outs and then had to get around a single off the bat of Eric Harms. And so even when the Legionnaire haven't scored, they have managed to add quite a few pitches to the count of Rutzky's left arm, which of course is important because this is a 9-inning game. So now Matt Vance 1 for 2. And there's a strike, 0-1. That looked like a little slider. Wasn't the big curveball. There's the 0-1. That's in the dirt, 1-1. Fastball on the outside edge. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You can see this time around he's gone away from that curveball. It's been more fastball. That one probably a 2-seamer. And he's thrown what looks like a changeup a bit more. Vance stepping out, asking for time. 1-2 with 2 outs, nobody on. 5th inning, 3-2 Legionnaire. And Rutzky, left-hander, kicks and deals. Curveball hit on the ground up the middle, and that's going to get through into center field, a base hit. So Vance with a 2-out single. That's just exactly what happened last inning. Rutzky just can't quite get that easy, quick inning. He had one in the 2nd inning, but not since. And Vance is at first base with 2 down for the cleanup hitter, David Grimes. Grimes has struck out looking and walked. He also stole a base last time he was aboard. And so the Legionnaire going to try and start a 2-out rally here. And Grimes looks at a fastball. That's a strike on the outside corner. I mention it every time when Vlado Chupic is behind home plate. He has the most relaxed strike call. There's the 0-1. That's in the dirt, and Vance is going to try, throw to second base. He is safe. He just barely got under. Lechner maybe also had dropped the ball. It was a close play. Thorpe with a very good throw. Take another look. Curveball in the dirt. Doesn't get very far away. And Vance went right away. I think Lechner dropped the ball. You see he has to pick it up again. And so there's a runner in scoring position. That will be a wild pitch. So the count 1 ball, 1 strike on David Grimes, who could bring home a 4th run for the Legionnaire with a base hit here. There's a curve at the knees in the outside corner. That was the big bender, 1-2. Yeah, Rutzky has really had to use all of his repertoire in this game. Try a bunch of different pitching strategies. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that fastball missed outside. 2-2 now, the count even. Grimes, in each of his previous at-bats, had a full count. So he has worked the count. So he by himself has already seen more than 12 pitches or so. He's at 2-2 now. The pitch, curveball, hit slowly on the ground to second. Lechner fields, throws to first. It is in time, and the inning is over. So Rutzky again pitches around a 2-out single, but does not allow a run. The Disciples will come to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 3-2. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. To the bottom of the fifth inning, the Legionnaire on the strength of a Devin Ramirez 3-run home run, leading the Disciples by a score of 3-2. For the Disciples, they got their 2 runs back in the second inning on a 2-run laser double down the line off the bat of Titus van Kopf. That was against the starting pitcher Christian Pedrol. Pedrol was removed last inning and relieved by Tomasz Ondra, who walked the first batter he faced but then struck out the next 2 as the Disciples were threatening with runners on first and second. And so now Ondra will pick up with 3, 4, and 5. Will Thorpe, Danielle Patrice, and David Dinsky. Here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And the first pitch is inside, ball 1 from the tall Czech right-hander. Dealing to Will Thorpe, who's from British Columbia. 1-0 pitch. That breaking ball stayed up in the count 2-0 now. Thorpe today 0 for 2, strikeout and a ground out. The ground ball was a nice play off from the shortstop Alex Schmidt. And the 2-0 is on the inside corner, 2-1. Thorpe had a couple of really good swings his last at bat. Hitting some very hard line drives fouled on the left field line. 2-1. And a foul tip a little bit out in front of that pitch. Of course, Thorpe and Ondra were battery mates last year, so unless Ondra has made any drastic changes, Thorpe has seen it before. There's a foul off to the right, and Ondra, who was never a high strikeout pitcher for the Disciples, seemed to have always been searching for that elusive put-away pitch. Well, he got 2 strikeouts on an off-speed pitch last inning. 2-2 on Thorpe. This one tapped weakly at the plate, foul. In fact, that one made contact with Thorpe. So the count's still 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning on a relaxing Saturday afternoon at the ballpark in Haar. Thorpe with a high fly ball down the left field line. This is being chased by Harms and Sakaza, and Harms with a sliding catch in foul territory on the warning track made the play. And Harms, I was going to mention, he was playing in the left center field alley. He was nowhere near the line, had an extremely long way to run. I'm guessing he ran 150 feet for that ball. And that's a very good play by Eric Harms. Watch this again. See how far he has to go. And he goes down into a slide just shy of the fence. And it looked like he saluted somebody in the on the side of the fence. Maybe someone was warning him how close he was getting. Pitch is low to Danielle Patrice. 1 ball, no strikes, but that was a very good play by Eric Harms. You can hang a star on that one, as they used to say. Patrice with a little tapper that goes backwards. So the count 1-1. Patrice hit a fly ball his last time to right field, and otherwise he has singled, so he's 1 for 2. Another pop foul off to the right. This is going to get over the fence and out of play. So the count's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. 3-2 Legionnaire. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. This is a 9-inning game. In 2020, that's something that you need to remind people of. Also in major leagues. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. That's way outside, 2-2. So Ondra has faced 4 hitters. He's only allowed the walk to the first person he faced. Two on Patrice. Inside, he has to jackknife out of the way. Full count now. That was that running fastball. Full count on Danielle Patrice. And that's ball 4 inside fastball. So Patrice will remove the ankle and shin guard and take his place on first. Second walk issued by Ondra. And the Disciples have the tying run on base with 1 out. And now David Dinsky will step up to the plate. And Patrice on first base. Dinsky today has singled and walked, unless I can't read my own handwriting. He is 1 for 1 with a walk. That's correct. Swing and a miss on strike 1. Dinsky scored the Disciples' second run. He was the trail runner on Van Kopf's double back in the second inning. Patrice, pretty big lead off first, not going. The pitch low and in the dirt. Backhanded by Van Garsen. This ball popped off the fists. Playable for Van Garsen and Grimes, and they get tangled up. They were both calling for the ball. Van Garsen made the catch and then tripped over Grimes. I would imagine that's an easier play for the first baseman. So you just hope nobody got hurt. Let's take a look at that. But a couple of interesting defensive plays. One was a very good catch off the glove of Eric Harms, rather, as you see Grimes and Van Garsen both going after that ball, but Van Garsen making the play. So 2 down. And now Nolan West. And a fastball right through there, strike 1. So Ondra has been helped by the defense. And, of course, Legionnaire have a very good defensive team. You see that up the middle with the shortstop Schmidt and Jan. Schmidt with great range at short. The pitch is off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike now on the left-handed swinging West. Nolan today sacrificed and flied to right. So he's officially 0 for 1. Patrice off first base, still not going anywhere. And West with a good cut fouled it straight back. So the count now rather is 1-2. On deck hitter Titus Van Kopf retrieving that ball. One-two pitch from Ondra. That's fouled out of play. That looked again like that little off-speed pitch. And Ondra has used it effectively. But against West, West was able to keep the bat back and just get a piece to foul it away. Fastball just missed inside. That was a good spot for that pitch, however. West, I think, was looking for something more out over the plate, and he crowds the plate, stands very close to the plate, but that pitch went just under his hands and maybe an inch or 2 off the inside corner. So the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Popped foul again. Been a lot of foul balls in this game. There goes the runner. The pitch swung on, grounded off the glove of the first baseman Grimes, but he has time to pick it up and step on the bag to get the third out. So the Disciples do not score. They leave a base runner, And at the end of 5 complete, we're going to the 6th. It's 3-2 Legionäre. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. So we move to the top of the 6th inning. Rutzky is out there. He's thrown 90 pitches so far in the game, but he's been effective, and he's going to deal with 5, 6, and 7. Pascal Amon, Lucas Jan, and Elias van Garsen as the Legionäre leading 3-2. All 3 of their runs coming off the 3-run home run from Devin Ramirez, as the first pitch curved to Amon is low for a ball. Amon today has grounded out and struck out. Left-hand hitter with power. And he chops one down the line, foul. You may have noticed that there's a familiar face in the ballpark today. Coaching first base, Haar Disciples Ryan Bollinger is back in town. He had been playing professionally in Taiwan. The pitch is inside, 2 balls and a strike, and then he was injured. And that sort of ended his season in Taiwan, and so he's back in Germany. Two balls and 1 strike, the count to Pascal Amon. Here it comes. That's low, 3-1. Rutzky has sort of walked the tightrope as far as 3-ball counts, and he's got 1, 2, 3 walks in the game. And that missed down and in, ball 4. It's the 4th walk. And it leads off the 6th. So that will put Pascal Amon on first base. He's already looking down at the signs. So you wonder if the Legionäre are going to try to put something on right here and now. Also, Lucas Jan, as he walked up to the plate, was watching the signs from the third base coach. Earlier in the game, they've tried 2 stolen bases. 1 worked, 1 did not. But in both cases, they went on first move, and Rutzky that time electing to do the step-off throw. And clearly Rutzky thinking about Amon on first base. He's got a big lead. And the pitch to Jan is bunted down the third base line. That's going to be tough. Neil Schmidt is going to hold on to it. That's a bunt single, perfectly placed, as the third baseman Schmidt was playing back, and Jan laid it perfectly on the grass. And so 2 on with nobody out here in the 6th. And trouble brewing as Elias van Garsen now will van Garsen bunt. Even though it's the number 8 hitter coming up after him, Eric Harms. Harms has home run power. Everybody in this lineup has home run power, really. Let's see what the Legionäre elect to do. Van Garsen The corner infielders are up on the grass, and he squares, and he misses. That's strike one. A lot of times on a play like that, infielders, or the Disciples, in this case with the leadership of Thorpe, might put on a play to just immediately backpick on any missed bunt attempt. I've seen that many times, and I've seen it work quite a few times as well. 0-1. That one is inside. He got the hands back this time. The count 1-1. Rutzky nearing 100 pitches now. But don't forget, this is the Bundesliga. It is not uncommon to see 150 pitches. Although I don't think Rutzky's going to do that today. Here's the 1-1. Squares again. And that time it was low, and he pulled the bat back. So the count 2-1. Rutzky is backing himself into a corner here. First and second, nobody out, 2 balls and a strike. Is he going to be swinging away? He squares. And that time he bunted through it, strike 2. So that's 2 missed bunts in this at-bat. The pitch was out of the strike zone, I believe, as well. So he probably helped Rutzky, did Vance. So the count now 2-2. My guess is he will be swinging away now. Disciples would love a ground ball. And that's the old fake lift the leg, look at second base. See if anybody's sleeping. Amon on second base was not. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. And a ground ball to short. Thomas goes to second. 1. The relay from Lechner is not in time, as Patrice has to come off the bag to get it. Ball was not hit all that hard, so they do get the force at second base. As Amon moves to third, Jan is forced 6-4, and Vance reaches on a fielder's choice. Lechner didn't get a lot on the throw, and his throw pulled Patrice off the bag, but Vance had it beaten easily. So now first and third and 1 out for Eric Harms. Again, infield looking for a double play. And that's fouled away, strike 1 on the first pitch. Vance on the delivery from Rutzky was headed back to the bag at first. And so clearly his motion is pretty deceptive. And when they've stolen, I mentioned it before, they just went on first move and gambled. There's the 0-1. Curveball, tapped foul, 0-2. And again, Vance took a couple steps back towards first. 0-2 on Eric Harms. 1 out in the inning. This is a big spot for the Disciples. They would love to try to keep this a 1-run game. And Rutzky, this is his job. There's nobody in the bullpen. The 0-2. Hit on the ground to second. Lechner has it. Feeds Thomas. There's 1 on to first. Double play. And the inning is over. Just what the doctor ordered for Evan Rutzky. Let's watch that on the replay. This one was a lot harder hit than the previous ground ball, as he was able to get more of the barrel on the bat was Harms, but Lechner a few steps to his right, shoveled it to Nate Thomas, an easy turn, and that's 4-6-3, put it in the books. We will go to the bottom of the 6th inning, the Legionnaire 3, the Disciples 2. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, presented from Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. To the bottom of the sixth inning rather, excuse me. Bottom of the sixth inning we go. And for the Disciples, 7-8-9, Titus von Kopf, Niels Schmidt, and Enzo Mušik. Against the right-hander Tomáš Ondra. Ondra in relief has thrown 39 pitches. He has not allowed a hit. He struck out 2 and walked 2. And he is protecting the slimmest of leads, 3-2 for the Legionnaire. And the Disciples escaped a dicey situation last inning thanks to a ground ball double play. Turned nicely by Lechner, Thomas, and Patrice. And Rutzky pitched himself out of a potentially dangerous inning. As von Kopf swinging away and lines a base hit into left field. He has been all over every pitch he's seen today. His 2-run double is responsible for the Disciples' only runs in the game. So he's aboard with a single to start things off. And now Niels Schmidt, who doubled deep to center field his last time. I mean, he hit a line drive that soared over the head of Pascal Amon. And he will step up with von Kopf on first base. Nobody out. And the pitch. There's a slow grounder to short. Schmidt has it, goes to second, Jan to first, and the throw is not in time. So they get the lead runner, but Niels Schmidt beat out the relay throw. So the Legionnaire trying to return the favor, but the ball was just too slowly hit. So the 6-4 force retires von Kopf, but Schmidt reaches on the fielder's choice. And so Enzo Mušik steps up now with 1 out and a runner on first base. And he slowly rolls one to third. Sakaza has it to Jan for 1. Around the horn for 2. Well, that was quick. 5-4-3. And some nifty defense by the Legionnaire that inning. That ball was not hit all that hard. 5-4-3, I think, in this league is a lot rarer than 6-4-3 or 4-6-3. But that was turned perfectly by Sakaza. And then Lucas Jan with a very good arm onto first base, and that's the inning, 5-4-3. Only, I think he only threw 3 pitches that inning. Am I wrong? 3 or 4 pitches. So, very quickly, we move to the 7th. It is 3-2. The Legionnaire leading the Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert von Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. Evan Rutzky has thrown 104 pitches so far in this ball game. And he's going to go back out to work. It's 9-1-2. Nino Sakaza, Alex Schmidt, and then Devin Ramirez. So far, just the 1 pitch that he has thrown, that 3-run home run, that's the difference in the game. That was off the bat of Ramirez. And that pitch is in for a strike, 0-1. To Sakaza. Sakaza walked, no, excuse me, he singled. That was that little excuse me swing, single, and then he scored on the home run. And then he's grounded out. He's 1 for 2. Curveball pulled foul, 0-2 the count. This is only his 3rd plate appearance. Rutzky has battled so far. He pitched out of a jam last inning. And he gets Sakaza to chase a breaking ball down in the dirt. Thorpe throws to first to complete the play. And that's the first out here in the 7th. That is strikeout number 1, 2, 3. That's only the 4th strikeout for Rutzky. And now the top of the order, Alex Schmidt. Schmidt is 0 for 2. He's also sacrificed. But he's played solid defense, as one has come to expect. And there's a strike on the outside corner. Looked like a little, not sure if that's a cutter or a slider. It had a little lilt to it. Nothing in 1. That pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now back in the 2nd inning, the Disciples took a 2-0 lead. That was the double off the bat of Titus von Kopf. There's the 1-1 to Schmidt. And it's taken for a ball, 2-1. And then in the next half inning, in the top of the 3rd, Devin Ramirez hit a 3-run home run, and that has been it. That's all of the scoring in the game. 3 runs on 6 hits for the Legionnaire, as that pitch is low, 3-1. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Disciples. Neither team has committed an error. It's been clean baseball. There have been some pitches made to get out of jams. There have been a few tense situations with base runners in scoring position. There's a strike, full count now on Schmidt. But mostly, it's come down to a couple of big swings and good pitching. That's where we are right now. Of course, yesterday's game was pretty close at this same point as well. And then the wheels fell off. There's a chopper down the 3rd baseline. It stays down on Schmidt and goes under his glove and into the outfield. Alex Schmidt, the base runner, took a big turn at first and decided to hold on. That ball hit the edge of the grass, and Niels Schmidt was ready for it to bounce, and it scooted right under his glove. I don't think I caught it on the replay. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets scored. Had a lot of spin on it, and it just, you see how it just sort of caroms awkwardly, even though Schmidt was out of your picture. So Alex Schmidt hits one past Niels Schmidt, and he's on first base for Devin Ramirez. And Rutzky going to have to battle yet again. And that pitch just missed the inside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. The Schmidt on first base is, of course, a threat to steal, and he's got a pretty big lead. Now he's going, and they've got him picked. And the throw to second base, and it's wide, pulls Thomas off the bag, and Schmidt is in there. So he's in scoring position. By the way, they had awarded Schmidt a base hit, and now he's going to reach on a stolen base. Second base. So a runner at second base with nobody out. So Devin Ramirez a chance to add to his RBI total for today. Excuse me, there's 1 out. And the 1-0 pitch, that's high and away. That looked like the first one that Rutzky overthrew. 2 balls, no strikes. Ramirez has walked and grounded out, other than the 3-run home run that I've told you about multiple times. So he's 1 for 2. And that pitch missed low and inside, 3-0. Rutzky is really going to have to reach into his well of energy in a game like this. Nothing has really come easy. He had an easy 2nd inning, but since then there has been at least 1 base runner in every single inning, and he's really had to labor. That pitch is in for a strike. So the count now 3 balls and 1 strike on Ramirez, who it would not surprise me if he was turned loose on 3-0. 3-1 now. Although the scoreboard says 2-2. I wonder if I missed something. I don't think so, though. Hit on the ground up the middle. That's going to get through into center field past the dive of Lechner. Rounding third, heading to the plate is Schmidt. He will score. And taking second base, the throw there, not in time. It is 4-2 Legionnaire on the RBI single off the bat of Devin Ramirez. He's got all 4 runs batted in this game. And so the ground ball single that could have been fielded, then the pickoff that was not executed, and now a single up the middle drives home the 4th run of the game for the Legionnaire. And Alex Tufts is going to have a mound visit as we take a look at the replay here. There's no activity that I can see in the Disciples bullpen. And Tufts is out there having a chat with Rutzky. So Rutzky at least is going to be in there for the near future as we look at the replay of the ground ball single. Not hit all that hard, but placed perfectly. And the throw was not nearly in time. And good base running by Devin Ramirez taking second base. Even though the throw was perfectly in line with the cut and the fake cut by Patrice, everything was executed perfectly by the Disciples, but Ramirez simply too quick and decided to take the chance that they would let the ball go through. And he was correct. So he's at second base. Tufts goes back to the dugout after chatting with the left-hander Rutzky, and now Matt Vance with 1 out. And Ramirez at second base. Vance has singled twice and flied out, 2 for 3. The church bells are ringing here in Haar. Maybe you can hear that. Rutzky just waiting for Lechner to get back into position. And a check swing, fastball. And they will appeal. He did go around. That's a swing, says the base umpire. Strike 1 on Matt Vance. And that fastball missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think Rutzky is up over 120 pitches now. There goes the runner for third. The pitch is high. Throw to third, and it's offline. Schmidt had to go into foul ground to save it. That's a tough thing when there's a right-handed batter in the box and the catcher has to step back to get around him. Sometimes you'll see them yank throws, and so stolen base for Ramirez. He was in there easily. That's a good idea with only 1 out. Count 1-1. Infield is in now. The Disciples will try to come home. And that pitch missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. Vance looking for something out over the plate. Rutzky coming in on him. Here it comes. Curveball, check swing. And it's a strike called anyway. Now, Rutzky hasn't thrown the curveball in a little while. That was the first one I've seen. And I think this inning maybe. Well, since the Sakaza strikeout, I guess. 2 balls and 2 strikes, I believe, is the count. It might be full. A little tapper in front of the plate. Rutzky fields, throws to first, and his throw is in time, and they held the runner at third. That was a bang-bang play at first base. Very good play. And that's the 2nd out of the inning. Very good job of fielding his position. Rutzky stayed very cool and calm as he made that play. So he gets Matt Vance on the 1-3 putout. Ramirez could go nowhere on that. Watch this one again. It rolled about 20 feet up the grass. Ramirez staying put, and a good play. Nice stretch on the back end, of course, by Patrice. So 2 down. Ramirez is at third, and that will bring up the cleanup hitter, David Grimes. Grimes 0 for 2 with a walk. And Rutzky Misses inside. You can see he's really running out of gas at this point. But you know what? That's part of the job description sometimes, pitching when you know you're running on fumes, trying to fight your way through. If the Disciples had a loaded bullpen, they would probably be using it right now, but they don't. So here's the 1-0. There's a back pick attempt, and the throw nearly went down the line. Good save by Schmidt as Ramirez was dancing off the bag just a bit. Pitch was a ball, number 2. And a foul off to the right, 2-1. Grimes, a very defensive swing for a 2-0 count. Looked like he was just trying to slap that ball to the opposite field. Two balls and a strike. Here it comes. And that's low, 3-1. Well, I only see the pitch count updates in between the innings. Rutzky is up at 125 pitches right now. 3-1. This one hit sharply, a diving stop by Thomas to his feet, throws to first, and he got him! That saved a run, and possibly the left arm of Evan Rutzky. He gets through the inning, gives up one, but no more. Let's watch that again. Nolan Thomas. This ball was hit fairly hard. It was a little bit of a jam shot. And on one hop, look at Thomas. And a great stretch, and just barely got him at first base. So the inning is over. It's time to stretch here in Haar. The Legionnaire lead by a score of 3-2. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Haar, and let's take another look at that play by Nolan Thomas. A hard-hit ground ball, or a one-hop line drive, however we want to describe it, off the bat of David Grimes. He dives to his left, full-on belly flop, and then fired it to first. The big stretch on the back end by Danielle Patrice, and they just barely got Grimes at first. That saved a run. And saved Rutzky from probably going over 130 pitches that last inning. But right, you know, I got to say, there's nobody in the bullpen, so it's the Bundesliga. That's how it works over here sometimes. So here's Nolan Thomas, top of the order against Tomasz Ondra. This is Nate's second at-bat against him. And the first pitch is a strike. Ondra has pitched very well in relief. And Thomas drives it deep center field. Amon back, makes the catch. Well, there have been some hard-hit baseballs out in that direction today. That one, Amon got a beat on. Well, I can't hit it much harder than that. And I missed the opportunity to say the age-old broadcaster's wisdom of guy makes a great play and leads off the next inning. I don't think people say that anymore, but, you know, I guess I just did. So Nate Thomas hits a deep fly ball, but he's out number one. And now Lechner up to the plate. And he looks at a strike. There's a ground ball pulled down the line, just foul. That was within a foot of the bag, I would say, but it looked clearly to be to the right. So the count 0-2 on Lechner. And yeah, and if you're wondering, let's look at Rutzky's pitch count. He got out of that last half inning. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the second. And since then, he has had to battle. He has thrown 130 pitches right now. And I'm sure, I mean, Alex Tufts, the head coach, he's a pitcher himself, and Rutzky is probably calling his own shots as to whether he feels he has enough to keep going, as Lechner pokes the ball into left field. That's a base hit for Simon, so he's aboard. Boy, imagine if Nate Thomas hadn't hit that rocket right at Pascal Amon in center field. So Lechner, a one-out single. That'll bring up Will Thorpe. Thorpe representing the tying run. Thorpe is 0 for 3 today. And he swings and foul tips one. That's that little off-speed pitch that Ondra seems to have brought with him today. And he's gotten some swings and misses. And Thorpe a couple of times has been out in front of that pitch. It's been a well-pitched, well-played ball game on both sides. Each team has turned a double play. And the pitch is outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the next one, there's a line drive over short, base hit into the alleyway. Lechner is going to take the turn and head to third. The ball is fumbled in left field, but Thorpe decides to stay put at first base. But as soon as Harms fumbled that ball in left field, he lost any shot of cutting off Lechner at third. So the Disciples are in business. They have the tying run now 90 feet away. There's only 1 out in the inning. And Daniel Patrice, the number 4 hitter, who is 1 for 2 with a single and a walk today, he will step up to the plate. There's activity in the Legionäre bullpen. And I think the Disciples are hoping they can tie this game or maybe take the lead and then pray that Rutzky can get some quick innings and finish it. Although I'm telling you, 130 pitches, that is a lot. It's not the most I've ever seen, though, in this league. Here's the pitch, and that's shot foul. I've also seen the European Championships a couple years ago. There was a pitcher named John Carlos Granado, I think was his name. He threw 140 pitches in a game, and in between innings, he was over in the bullpen throwing more pitches. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. But he was kind of a lefty junk baller, didn't throw very hard. Patrice with a roller towards third. Can they turn 2? There's 1 on to first, and it is not in time. So the run scores. The inning will continue. It was slowly hit, and Patrice runs well. That's why you knew it might be close at first base. So he will drive home a run. Lechner scores. Thorpe is out 5-4. That's the second out of the inning, but Patrice reaches on the fielder's choice. He just barely beat it out. So the Disciples get a run. It is 4-3. Excuse me, the scoreboard was incorrect, I just noticed. The score is Legionnaire 4, the Disciples 3. That is the actual correct score. There are 2 outs now. Dinsky will come up to the plate with Patrice on first base. You wonder if Patrice might try to do some running. And Dinsky squaring, and the pitch is missed. Van Garsen couldn't find it for a second. And that was clearly, of course, for a base hit, as the third baseman, Sakaze, is playing way back, and there are 2 outs. No reason for a sacrifice. Yeah, my apologies, that the scoreboard was incorrect. The score is actually Legionnaire 4, Disciples 3. So we do not have a tie game yet. It's all a one-man show back here, so I got to remember to push all the right buttons at the right time. The pitch. Dinsky again squaring to bunt, and he took the pitch for a strike. Now he swings through it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Remember, Dinsky is playing with a bad foot. That's why he's DHing. And strike 3 called. Fastball got him looking on the inside corner. Ondra gets out of the inning, allowing only 1 run. 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 left on base. So we go to the 8th. It's a close one here. Legionnaire 4, the Disciples 3. This is Haar Disciples Baseball presented from Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. So to the top of the 8th inning, and that man again is out on the mound, Devin Rutzky. He's thrown 130 pitches. 77 of them have been strikes. He's allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. But really, the thorn in his side has been Devin Ramirez. And he will throw a first pitch breaking ball. That one drops low to Pascal Amon. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, we all know he's running on fumes, but he's going to try to get through this as efficiently as possible, as Nathan Thomas, the shortstop, is standing directly behind the second base bag almost, maybe 3 feet to its left. Rutzky falls behind 2-0. The Disciples, if you're wondering, in their bullpen, because they had to use so many pitchers yesterday, and so many of their pitchers are injured. There's a chopper foul. So on the bench, the Disciples have Bastian Zaharia. He is not a pitcher. Adriano Penskover is a pitcher, but with very, very little experience in the Bundesliga, as is Sean Cowan, who pitched yesterday, so he can't go. Daniel Wolf is on the roster today. He's pitched a grand total of, I think, 2 innings in the Bundesliga, and that was last year. He's a youngster, good arm, but still a young guy. Kind of tough to bring him in against the first place powerhouse. And that's pretty much it. That's who they have on the bench. They could put Nathan Thomas, the shortstop, could pitch. Niels Schmidt has done some pitching. Nolan West, I think, has also done some pitching. But it's Rutzky and then pretty much position players. There's the pitch, curveball, and that's inside ball 4. Not the beginning he wanted. And actually, I'm looking in the comments, Helgard, I think you might be right. I think you might be right about the highest pitch count I've ever seen. I think Bollinger might have thrown 160 pitches against Paderborn, which is nuts. That was in, I think, the clinching game of the semifinal. And in case you're wondering, here's Lucas Jan. Swing and a miss, high fastball. Still had enough on it to get it by him there. That game was in 2017 when Bollinger threw it, and this is, you know what? I have it's in my scorebook. I theoretically could find it if I can flip back enough pages here. 2018, 2018, 2017. I'll find it. As Jan has an 0-1 count. There's a strike, good fastball, 0-2. Ryan Bollinger threw 160 pitches back on 10th of September. That was almost exactly 3 years ago to the day, 2017. And then he went on and signed with the Yankees. There's a check on the runner at first base, who was standing on the bag. So I guess Rutzky's got... Well, Bollinger's in the dugout. They're probably talking about it. He's probably saying, yeah, man, I threw 160 pitches, no problem. Although I have a hard time believing that it's no problem to throw 160 pitches. There goes the runner. The pitch, curveball, is taken for strike 3. Throw to second base is not in time. So Jan strikes out looking on the curveball, but Amon steals second base. So there's one down. Take a look at that pitch again as Elias von Garson steps up to the plate. Good curveball. And you will, I mean, in this league, you will see a lot of position players pitching, but there are some that are legit really good. First of all, Nate Sean Thomas, when he's pitching, he can be really tough. He's got a good arm. There's a swing and a miss on Elias von Garson. And there was a couple of two-way players up in the north. The Doran Wild Farmers have a Lithuanian player by the name of Edvardas Metusavicius. There's a swing and a miss. And I think he got Thorpe with the backswing. So catcher to catcher there. 0-2. And Metusavicius, who's been playing in Doran for the past couple of years, he's an excellent pitcher. They basically use him as the closer, and he just hits bombs all the time. Thomas DeWolf, another guy that comes to mind, another two-way player. So Shohei Ohtani in the big leagues doesn't happen so often, but here it's pretty common. There's a pitch. That one hit him. Curveball hit him. And so that means Amon has to stay put at second base, but von Garson gets to go to first. Still no activity in the bullpen for the Disciples, although some stirring around. Two on, one out in the inning. Eric Harms, who hit into a double play his last time. Boy, would Rutzky ever love another one of those? Let me tell you, 4-3 is the score. This is a real battle for Evan Rutzky. This is one of those really just grinded out type of games for him, and he's doing well. Pitch is high. Every at-bat has been a battle. If I look at my scorecard, Legionnaire sent 4 batters to the plate in the first inning, and then a 1-2-3 second inning, and that is the last time that has happened. This ball hit in the air to center field and deep and way back. That ball is going to land in the gap, and it bounces over the fence, which is a little bit of luck for the Disciples because that only brings 1 run home. So a long RBI grounds rule double off the bat of Eric Harms. And so Amon scores. Von Garson goes to third, and Harms is at second base. Let's take another look at this. That pitch was up and out over the plate. Harms got the arms extended. No chance for West. He raced all the way back. The ball took 1 bounce and went over that temporary fence that's set up there in center field. So now, second and third, 1 out. Nino Sakaza, the hitter. Infield is in. It is 5-3 Legionnaire. And that pitch is on the corner for a strike, 0-1. Sakaza singled, grounded out and struck out. There's the 0-1. A ground ball through the drawn-in infield. That's going to score 1 as Fungarson trots home. Stopping at third base is Harms. It is now 6-3 as the Legionnaire are beginning to widen the gap. Sakaza with a little slap job single drives home Fungarson. And it is 6-3, and Tufts is coming out of the dugout. You wonder if that's got to be it. I mean, Rutzky is over 140 pitches. I didn't see anybody warming, so that means it's probably going to be a position player if he's going to make a change. He has not signaled anything yet. Rutzky is at 146 pitches. And indeed, Nate Sean Thomas is going to come in and pitch. So Thomas is going to, you see him taking his batting glove off of his hand. He's going to come from the shortstop position to the mound. And looks like Daniel Patrice is going to leave the field. Let's see what the changes are going to be here. So Thomas will pitch. And that means Dinsky is going to play first base. That's why. So they lose the DH, obviously. So and Patrice, that's what's going to happen. Daniel Patrice, who was playing first base, is going to play short. David Dinsky was the DH. He's now playing first base. And Nate Sean Thomas is going to pitch. So we'll see what he can do here, but that's quite an effort for Evan Rutzky. He really battled 7 1/3 innings. Let's take a look at what he's got so far. 7 1/3, 10 hits. I mean, at the end of the day, the line score doesn't look great, but he was running on fumes for the last several innings. I mean, 146 pitches, that's called laying it all out there. And he gave the Disciples a chance to win. They just couldn't quite get the big hit. So far, at least. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Didn't have his absolute best control. But still, gave the Disciples a chance. And so Nate Thomas is their best option. So, you know, he had to probably very quickly warm up in between innings. Except you have to remember, he also batted last inning. So he led off the inning and then went and threw some pitches in the bullpen, I guess, which I didn't see. But then it's very difficult to just come in from having played shortstop. This inning already has lasted a little bit of a while. It's a real specialized skill to be able to do that, come in and throw strikes in a tough spot like this, especially with the Legionnaire, powerful offensive team that they are. They have scored 2 runs in this inning, and they are threatening for more. They have runners on first and third. All those runners, of course, are the responsibility for Rutzky, who's given up 6 runs so far. And it's going to be the top of the order, Alex Schmidt. Now, when you think back to the beginning of the year, which wasn't long ago, as we all know, the Disciples seemed like they had more than enough pitching with Titus von Kopf and Jan Endriat and Sean Cowan. And they've all been injured. That pitch is a strike. First pitch outside corner at the knees from Nate Sean Thomas. And that's just task number 1. Throw the ball over the plate, of course. Schmidt has singled and scored a run. 1 for 3. He's also sacrificed. First and third, Sakaza, a pretty short lead off first, but he's going, and the pitch is grounded to third. Schmidt fields, throws across, and his throw is in time to get the out at first. A run comes home to score, however, and it is 7-3. So the ground ball Off the bat of Schmidt, sounded like he might have broken his bat. That's the second out of the inning, but a run crosses as Harms waited for the throw to go to first base. It's good base running by Eric Harms, as Schmidt knew that he had no chance at getting a double play. So Sakaza moved to second on that. And now Devin Ramirez, who's got 4 runs batted in, a 3-run home run and an RBI single. He's 2 for 3. He's also walked. 2 down in the inning. And a strike. Thomas throwing strikes so far. And now Thomas is ready to deal with Ramirez. There's the 0-1. That's cracked into left field, and it's going to drop for a base hit in front of Van Kopf. And his throw to the plate is high and offline. That allows Ramirez to take second base as the run also scored. 5 runs batted in for Devin Ramirez. RBI single, and then he takes second on the ill-advised throw to the plate as Sakaza was waved around at the crack of the bat. So 7-3 Legionnaire here in the top of the 8th inning. And what a day for Devin Ramirez. He is really hitting the ball well. That ball, I think, had a lot of top spin on it. He hit it, and it had that loud crack. But then it just kind of died. And I think it fooled the left fielder, Titus Van Kopf, who initially started back. So now Matt Vance steps up to the plate. Vance with 2 hits and 4 at-bats today. There's a ground ball to third. Schmidt, and it takes a bad hop and gets past him. Ramirez around third. He's headed to the plate, and he will score. And now the Legionnaire have opened up a 5-run lead. It is 9-3. That's probably going to be an error. It did take a bad hop, but it was slowly hit. As we look at this, so the runs are all charged to Rutzky, so 8 runs. And now, at this point, if that indeed is going to be scored an error, that means any runs that would score from this point forward would be unearned. As that should have been the 3rd out of the inning. So now, David Grimes, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And it indeed is an E5. That's the first error of the game. It had been really a clean, well-played game to this point, and honestly, the story here is that the Legionnaire were able to outlast Evan Rutzky. They really battled, made him throw a lot of pitches, did not chase a lot of pitches out of the zone, and eventually, after 146 pitches, he had to come out of the game. And when you have a thin bullpen to begin with, the complexion of a game can change very quickly. Here's the pitch, curve, and that one is high. 1-2 on Grimes. Grimes is 0 for 3, but he has walked in, stolen a base. Curveball missed a little bit high. Thomas wanted the call. And the count 2-2. Popped up. That's behind the plate. Thorpe giving it a look. I think it's going to land on my tent. Nope, just behind me. Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes, I believe. And that one is high. And so now a full count. There goes the runner, and there's a line drive base hit to left field. Van Kopf comes up with it and gets it back in, so a 2-out single, and the inning continues. And now the 10th batter to come to the plate in the inning will be Pascal Amon. Well, it was a close game. It was a 4-3 game entering this inning. No, excuse me, it was 4-3, that's right. And then this inning, they've tacked on a bunch more as Amon takes a ball outside. The inning started with a walk, then a strikeout, then a hit batter, then Harms doubled, Sakaza singled. Then Schmidt grounded out. Ramirez singled, and Vance reached on an error. Then Grimes with a single, and now Amon with a 2-ball, no-strike count. There's a swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike. Three balls and a strike. Amon today grounded out, struck out, and then he's walked twice. He also stole the base. Well, the score looks lopsided right now, but really it was a very well-played, close game up until this inning when the back end of the bullpen, which is non-existent for the Disciples, is being exposed. And so there's a walk to load the bases. That puts Vance at third, Grimes at second, Amon at first, and now Lucas Jan, the hitter. And here, I guess it should be mentioned, if Jan were to go yard, that would make it a 10-run game, and then the Disciples would only have 3 outs with which to work in the bottom half. There's activity in the bullpen for the Legionnaire. Jan hits a fly ball to right center field, and Lechner is out. He makes the catch and ends the inning. But not before a whole bunch of stuff happened, and the Legionnaire lead by the score of 9-3. They got 5 runs on, let's see if I can read my own handwriting here. 5 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits. 5 runs on 3 hits. Perhaps I'm misreading my handwriting. Let's see here. You know what? I'll tell you later. Most important thing is they got 5 runs that inning. So we're going to the bottom of the 8th inning, 9-3, Legionnaire leading. This is Hard Disciples Baseball präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the bottom of the 8th inning, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Buchbinder Legionäre is the right-hander Sven Schuler. Schuler, of course, in the Dodgers organization, has been playing. Of course, there's no minor league season this year, so he's back in Regensburg. First pitch was a ball to Nolan West. Hard-throwing right-hander. He's extremely tough on right-handed hitters, but we saw last year in the European Championships that lefties had a better chance against him. Nolan West, left-hand hitter, is 0 for 2. And he hits a fly ball popped up on the infield, left side, Schmidt calling for it. And he makes the catch. I never saw where that ball went at all. So there's one away as West pops out. So Titus Van Kopf has had the best swings today. He drove in 2 with a double in the second inning, and then he had a rocket single in the 6th. 2 for 3. Other than that, he grounded out. And Schuler very audibly releasing that pitch. Missed for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. And that one catches the corner. 1-1 against the right-handed hitter, Titus Van Kopf. And the pitch from Schuler. Little tapper right side, slowly hit to Lucas Jan. He fields and throws to first to get Van Kopf by a step. And there are 2 away. 4-3 goes the put out for those of you scoring at home. And that will bring up Niels Schmidt. Schmidt has had some good swings today as well. His double was deep to center field. And he looks at a breaking ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. See the question in the chat. This is a 9-inning game today. The doubleheaders were 7 innings, but as these 2 games were split, swing and miss from Schmidt, 1-1. Yesterday, these 2 teams played in Regensburg. Today they play in Haar. But otherwise, most of the games, because they're doubleheaders, have all been shortened. There's another good swing and a miss. Good fastball from Sven Schuler. Niels Schmidt overmatched on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one's outside. You can really hear, there's a train going by, and I can still hear Schuler grunting when he releases the pitch, a la Max Scherzer. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on, bottom of the 8th. And he got him swinging. A very good, clean inning for Sven Schuler. Nothing across the board for the Disciples. We go to the 9th. Legionäre have a 9-3 lead. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the top of the ninth inning. Tim Collins with you here from a lovely Saturday afternoon just outside of Munich here in Haar. And for the Legionnaire, it'll be 7-8-9. Elias von Garson, Eric Harms, and Nino Sakaza against Nate Sean Thomas in relief of Evan Rutzky. Rutzky pitched well, but ran out of gas after throwing only 146 pitches. And the Legionnaire started to pull away last inning after he had tired. But he kept the Disciples in check for most of the game, as Thomas now has a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Elias von Garson. Elias today has been hit by a pitch, reached on a fielder's choice, lined out, and grounded out. So the count 2 balls and 1 strike. That's high, 3-1. Now the Disciples would just like to get a quick inning. Didn't mean to, and he fouls it off. Now the count is full, 3-2. There's a high pop-up. It's going to stay in play as Dinsky is underneath it and makes the catch. 1 down. So that's the first out. And that'll bring up Eric Harms. And he pops one up, same spot. Dinsky a little bit closer to the dugout. He's got a room, and he makes the catch. 2 down. Dinsky first had to go around the umpire, then the base coach, then circle back towards the Regensburg dugout, and he made the play. So 2 pop-outs. And so Nina Sakaza will step up to the plate. And he swings and misses, strike 1. Sakaza today singled twice and scored twice. The last one drove in a run as well. Well, the player of the game, undoubtedly for Regensburg, is Devin Ramirez. A breaking ball caught the corner. Good pitch from Nate Sean Thomas, 0-2. And he serves that one foul. That one's in the dirt. 2 down, top of the 9th inning. Pop foul, that's going to be out of play over near the Disciples' bullpen. This one lined down the left field line. That's going to tail foul, though. I was ticketed for the corner, but ended up in the batting cage instead. Two-two pitch. This one rolled on the ground to the right side. Dinsky comes way off the bag, feeds it to Thomas covering, and they get the out. That was a good play by David Dinsky. He knew that Thomas would be over there in time, And the two combine on the 3-1 putout. And so the Disciples indeed get a quick inning. And so now Schuler going to try to do the same thing for the Legionnaire. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. It is 9-3 Regensburg. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. To the bottom of the ninth inning, the Disciples need 6 to tie and 7 to win, and they're going to have to do it against one of the best, Sven Schuler, who is still a prospect in the Dodgers organization. As far as I know, he's been allowed to play this year because there's no minor league season. And he will face Enzo Mušik, who fouls the first pitch back to the net, strike one. Mušik, and then the top of the order, Nathan Thomas and Simon Lechner. 3 outs to go for the Legionnaire. They are trying to go to 11-1. As they currently sit atop the Bundesliga South. Up in the north, it's Bonn and I believe Paderborn. This is strike 2. I should probably check the standings before I say that. I know Bonn. Let's check the Tabelle, shall we? Bonn and Paderborn. Paderborn is 10-2. Bonn is 10-1. Heidenheim, they won today, so they are 11-1. Regensburg, 10-1, trying to match that. 0-2 on Enzo Mušik. And there's that nasty slider, no chance. Swung on and missed for strike 3. There's one down. And now, top of the order, Nathan Thomas. Thomas is 0 for 3 with a walk today. Made a couple of nice plays in the field, though. That one diving play on the ground ball off the bat of David Grimes is going to make the highlight reel. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 1. There's a high drive, deep to right center field. Boom! That ball's gone over the fence. Oh boy, did Nathan Thomas get a hold of that. That was a majestic, towering fly ball in the alleyway in right center field. That is a blast and a half, and it's 9-4. Well, that just sort of shocked everyone awake in this park. Everybody's sort of been accepting, okay, this game's going to end soon, and Nathan Thomas blasts one out of sight. And so now Simon Lechner is up there, and he swings and fouls one to the screen. So Nathan Thomas with a home run. And Lechner ropes one deep to right field down the line, and that one hops the wall. Played by Ramirez, Lechner racing for 2, and he is there. Well, I told you lefties tend to give Schuler more problems than righties, and sure enough, Nathan Thomas and Simon Lechner, both with very good swings. And that'll bring up Will Thorpe. So a glimmer of hope here with one out in the bottom of the ninth. It's a 9-4 game. Will Thorpe at the plate. Well, Schuler made quick work of Enzo Mushik to start the inning, but then the two lefties with very solid contact. And now Thorpe. And that pitch in the dirt. Good block by Van Garsen. And Lechner trailing by 5 runs. Wise to not make any risky base running decisions. And this one in the dirt again. 2 balls and no strikes. So the Disciples with Thorpe and then Patrice, 3 and 4 coming up, barring an unusual double play. And Thorpe takes a ball inside. 3 balls and no strikes. The Disciples have come back from 6 runs in the 9th inning before. I've seen it. Last year against Regensburg, I think they did it. Against Heidenheim. 3-0 on Thorpe, he will be taking here. Schuler goes through a series of signs, and then Thorpe steps out. So, little cat and mouse here. Thorpe has singled in 4 trips today. Lechner off second base. And that one hits him. That was a breaking ball. And Thorpe looking out at Schuler, not excited about that. And Schuler says, sorry. Thorpe, a couple of words. It was a breaking pitch. And so, the intensity level ratchets up a little bit here. There's 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 9th. Danielle Patrice is the hitter. Thorpe angry about being hit by the pitch. He's on first base. It's a 9-4 ball game. Danielle Patrice has hit the ball pretty hard today, but only has 1 hit to show for it. And that pitch is low. Schuler throws very hard, and his pitches really move a lot. I can see it even just right from where I'm sitting, which is slightly to the left of the view that you have, so I'm a little bit more centered in my view. 1-0. As a ground ball back through the middle, and it hits the bag. Base hit into center field. Lechner being waved around. He will score. Thorpe goes to third. An RBI single makes it 9-5. Patrice has excellent back control and got the bat on the ball, hit a comebacker. He got past Schuler, and it bounces off the second base bag and went past Schmidt and just died in shallow left center field. And so now it's getting a little more interesting. The Disciples still need more base runners to bring the tying run to the plate, but the energy level is picking up. It feels like there are fans in the ballpark because there's a lot of auxiliary players and some people who help out the Verein. They are here, and they're looking for a 9th inning comeback as David Dinsky steps up to the plate. And that pitch is outside. Schuler suddenly missing the strike zone with his fastball. First and third, 1 out. Runner at third is Thorpe. Runner at first is Patrice. And that one low, nowhere close. Good scoop by Van Garsen, 2-0. Suddenly, Schuler looks like he's overthrowing a little bit. And the Disciples, if they can get one more base runner, would at least bring the tying run to the plate. And a ground ball to the hole, base hit. Thorpe will score to make it 9-6. Patrice stops at second base, an RBI single, and indeed the tying run will come to the plate in the person of someone who's got pop. and importantly is a left-handed hitter, Nolan West. Now, the lefties in this inning have knocked around Schuler. The home run off the bat of Nathan Thomas, the double off the bat of Lechner, and now you have the tying run, Nolan West, as Thomas Bison is going to come out to the mound and have a chat with his closer, Sven Schuler, as activity has begun in the Legionäre bullpen. No one is throwing yet, but there is some scrambling going on down there. So the Disciples will bring the tying run to the plate. There's only one out in the inning. And a double play would be in order, but Nolan West, a guy who's got home run power. He has, I think, 4 home runs on the year. And so this is their shot. This is the Disciples' chance. One of their last ones, of course, with 1 out in the 9th inning. After West, you have Titus van Kopf and Niels Schmidt, 2 guys that have also swung the bat well. So Schuler, who made quick work of it in the 8th, is now forced to really bear down here in the 9th. And he misses ball 1 on the first pitch. One and 0. A ground ball down the first base line, just foul, but a very good swing and solid contact. Yeah, the activity is ramping up for the Legionnaire in the bullpen. It's 9-6. 1 out, bottom of the 9th, tying run at the plate, and that's way outside. 2-1 now the count on Nolan West as Schuler. His control has really been all over the place this inning. Two and one. Popped up left side, playable. Sakaza calling for it, and he makes the catch. The ball was foul. And that is the second out of the inning. So a very important second out obtained by Schuler. And now Titus van Kopf will step up to the plate. Van Kopf is a kid who's seemingly been able to rise to the occasion in many different situations, both as a pitcher and as a hitter. Certainly has not looked overmatched at any point, really, in his Bundesliga career. Still very young, and here he is going to face Sven Schuler. And the pitch, that's low and outside. Schuler again looking back at the dirt on the mound. He's done that several times, and now he's kicking at the dirt in front of the pitcher's mound. 2 down, bottom of the 9th. Van Kopf, the tying run at the plate. And the 1-0. Check swing, the pitch was inside, dropped by Van Garsen. 2 balls and no strikes. Niels Schmidt is waiting on deck. The Disciples have already plated 3 runs in this inning. The 2-0. A ground ball back through the middle, base hit into center field. They're going to send Patrice around third. He will score without a throw. The tying runs are on. It's 9-7. And now Niels Schmidt will step up to the plate, representing the winning run. Titus van Kopf with 3 hits today. He's got 3 runs batted in. And he can put that on his resume. A base hit off of Sven Schuler in the 9th inning to bring the Disciples to within 2. Van Kopf representing the tying run. Niels Schmidt, the 8th man to bat in the inning. And that pitch is a strike on the outside corner. That's the first time in, I think, 6 hitters that Schuler has thrown the first pitch for a strike. 0-1. Schmidt has power. And that pitch is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dinsky is at second. Van Kopf is at first. 1-1, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. They are not holding the runners on. And a fastball. Good cut by Schmidt, but he did not come up with anything. And one more strike for Sven Schuler, and he can end this inning and the ball game. He's got that devastating slider that he can throw. Let's see what Schmidt can do. 1-2. And strike 3. Got him looking. It looked like a fastball right down the pipe. And that is the ball game, but a good one it was. It comes to an end. The final score, the Legionnaire defeating the Haar Disciples by the score of 9-7, but not without a little bit of nervous energy in the bottom of the ninth inning. The Disciples scoring 4 runs. And so that 5 spot that the Legionnaire put up in the 8th inning looming quite large. But in the end, the Legionnaire, a little bit too much for the Disciples today. They are 11-1, still atop the Bundesliga South. And the Disciples, they will fall to 5-7, but it was a fun ball game to watch, fun one to broadcast, and I hope you sitting at home also enjoyed the game. That is it for me this year. That was the final home broadcast for Haar Disciples baseball. So it was a short season, but short and sweet, and I hope you enjoyed everything. Remember, there's the donation link if you want to support these broadcasts in the future. There's a link in the description. And all that money will go towards, helping get me a new center field camera, for example. So you can find that in the YouTube description. Otherwise, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and enjoy the rest of the Bundesliga baseball season as it does go until next weekend, and then the playoffs begin. So that's it from Haar. My name's Tim Collins. Thanks for tuning in. Final score, the Buchbinder Legionäre 9, the Haar Disciples 7. Have a good day, everybody.